Welcome back, you guys. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys another talking points video. This time I'm going to focus on 3 talking points, and they are going to be on Kante, BEN CHILWELL, and Zouma. So I'm hoping you guys enjoy. And before I continue on, I just want to ask your feedback and your opinions. I've been thinking to make this talking point series a lot more conversation focused. That means that there won't be too many edits, too many stats, etc, etc. I just want to focus on the discussion. So I'm hoping you guys can give me your honest feedback. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, be honest and tell me. I create content for the community. I create content for you guys. I'm looking to always improve and do better. So if I can make a better video for you guys, of course I'm going to do that. Now, this Kante CDM debate is resurfacing again. You know, a lot of people have the belief that Kante isn't best suited playing in his new position. He doesn't have the passing technique. He plays negative passes. He passes sideways a bit too much as well. And I think this is fair feedback. I think that this is interesting to hear. But I don't necessarily agree with this, you guys. I don't think it is super accurate. We have to realize that Kante is playing as a CDM. And the reason why we need a CDM in this team is because we now have 2 midfield players in front of him who now have the license to get forward and attack. That's one of the main reasons why Barkley, who's now looking a lot better, and is literally tangible evidence of the improvement in the team from having a natural CDM. Well, that was the reason why Barkley got that goal against Leicester City. Since Kante has played in his new CDM role, we've won 3 games out of 3, we've conceded 2 goals, and those goals conceded came from set pieces. I found the contrast quite funny. You know, last season when Sarri signed Jorginho, I found this contrast kind of funny, you guys. You know, last season when Sarri brought Jorginho to this club, people were criticizing the decision to play Jorginho in the base of midfield over Kante, saying that Kante best operates in the CDM role. Fast forward 12 months later, and things have flipped reverse. It seems like now Jorginho is better suited to this role because he provides that positive passing and that creativity from deep. But my question is, you guys, if you are using a tactic and a setup that uses 2 number 8s, why do you need your guy in the base of midfield to have that creativity? He doesn't need to have that. With our team, our creativity is going to come from both the fullbacks. It's going to come from the number 8s. It's going to come from your Ziyech's. It's going to come from your Pulisic's, your Hudson-Odoi's, etc, etc. It's why we look more solid as a team, and it's why we look more balanced playing as a team as well. Now, I really like Jorginho. I've praised on my channel a ton, you guys. I like his warrior mentality, his work rate, his willingness to fight for the team too, and he's a pretty decent technician on the ball as well. But if you were to use him in this role that Kante is currently playing in, this would affect the balance of the team, because it's going to imply that one of the midfield players will have to drop deeper a lot more to help give that support to Jorginho. That's why throughout this season we've seen Kovacic and Jorginho being the main 2 playing in that base together, because Jorginho, due to his lack of physicality, his lack of ability to cover ground, and his lack of maybe defensiveness as well, needs that added support of a midfielder beside him. Now, when you play like that, you can keep all the possession in the world you want, but it can affect how you break teams down in the final third. And as games have gone on this season, that's something we've seen time and time again. Now, with the introduction of Kante playing as a CDM, it gives Lampard the confidence to use 2 number 8s, and with 2 8s, it means you have another player attacking in the final third. So for me, this is the way to go. This is the evolution of what Lampard has brought to the team so far. You know, when you apply this principle to next season, with players like your Ziyech's and your Werners and potentially Kai Havertz too, Kante will give them more freedom to play to their best and do what they do. I think we need to understand that with Kante playing as a CDM, he's not going to look as gung-busting or as exciting as he normally does playing higher up. Now, naturally, this comes down to the amount of space he's covering. You know, he's not tasked to like break forward and play as a box-to-box. He's tasked with covering those zones, shattering opposition players, you know, protecting that space in behind and stopping counterattacks. And so far, we've seen him do that amazingly well. Against Man City, he won that crucial tackle, which then set up Willian by passing to him, with Willian then going on that run down the right hand side, creating the move that got us that win against Manchester City. Now, these are the tangible evidence and results of Kante playing as a CDM, the benefit it gives our backline as well, and the benefit it's going to bring to the attacking players coming for next season. If you guys look throughout Europe, your Real Madrids, your Liverpools, your Bayern Munichs, etc, etc, they all seem to share one thing in common, and that's having a midfield destroyer in their team. You look at Liverpool, they have Fabinho playing there, At Man City, you have Fernandinho. At Bayern Munich, you have Joshua Kimmich. At Real Madrid, you have Casemiro. At Atletico Madrid, you have Thomas Partey. There's a reason why these teams that are focused on creating attacks, allowing the midfielders to bomb forwards, and are free scoring teams tend to have that midfield destroyer in their team. And the reason why their CDMs, their midfield destroyers are world class is because they have the added benefit of having technique and playing the ball. And that's one thing that Kante's possessed throughout his career. So for me, I find it quite disheartening that the technical sides of his game has been completely ignored and dismissed because maybe media figures are just brainwashing people to see the player in only one way and one way only. Kante throughout his career has been known for his one-touch control, second-touch pass. It's what separates him and elevates him from any normal CDM players. It's one of the main reasons why Sarri thought that Kante could play further up the field, which he did very well. And as we've seen this season against big teams, against your Man Cities and your Liverpools, we've seen all the best that Kante can bring. I feel like people are mentioning this need to have creativity in the base because of the game against Leicester, forgetting that due to the tactics, the game was being played out wide. You know, us and Leicester, we have very similar tactical principles, and if two teams are meeting, then naturally they're going to cancel each other out. Both us and Leicester City were stopping each other playing through the middle. We were marking Ndidi, and that's why Ndidi didn't have too much influence in the game, and the same thing was happening to us. So this meant the game was being played wide, meaning that if you wanted to bring the midfield into the game, you had to move the ball out wide with the fullbacks and focus your passes down those sides. Just because Kante didn't play a forward pass essentially doesn't mean that he can't do that or he's not good enough or anything like that. You weren't going to see passes like that because both teams were cancelling each other out. Lampard has been forced to have to adapt to his team throughout the season, and that's been due to injuries. That's why we've seen Jorginho and Kovacic playing so many games together, because if you use a Jorginho, you need to have that player alongside him. And naturally, this has meant that we keep a lot of possession of the ball, but it takes away from us having one less attacking player in the final third. With Kante here, this is an issue no more, and it's for these same reasons why we've picked up 3 wins out of 3 games. I think we have to embrace the positives of this move. We have to think about the implications for the team. We have to think about the team all the time. I think too often in football, we only see things through an individual player basis, and I think when you see it like that, you completely miss the idea of what the game plan is, how it's supposed to break teams down, and what actually makes the team better. So, you guys, I'm standing for Kante playing as a CDM. I've been saying this for a while. I've had it in all my predicted lineup vids. I remember I was getting heavy criticism during last year when I was implying that I'd see Kante CDM, Mason on the right and Loftus-Cheek down the left. I feel like at some point this season I am going to see that. And in that sense, I was right because I've seen Kante, Barkley and Mason playing how many games together. For me, the reality is we are just a better, stronger, more balanced team playing with a CDM over a regista. We now move on to the second talking point, and I want to speak about Ben Chilwell. In that first half, I thought Ben was one of the main reasons why Leicester was starting to win that battle down their left-hand side. You know, we saw with Ben's movements, so his infield runs in particular, which were working very, very well. He was forcing Willian back. He was forcing our winger back, and it meant that Reece James could not get forward. As I've been stressing, that was the game plan from Leicester, to stop Reece getting into the game, and it worked for, a few moments throughout the game. During that period, we saw Ben Chilwell at his best, and I could understand why Lampard and the people at the club were really interested in the idea of bringing Ben to us. He has that ability to help you dominate down the flank too, and I think he would work very well alongside a Pulisic, a Hudson-Odoi, a Werner, or anyone playing down that left-hand side. It was the second half though that cemented to me that maybe we should be targeting other left-back options, especially for the price that Leicester want for Ben. I think for the 50 to 60 million range, it's way too much money that can't be justified because Ben just isn't fully ready yet. As I've been saying, I do feel like maybe the plan with Ben is to coach him to become that player, because I thought his game against us was the perfect reflection of a young player that has big potential, that plays the game at a really high level, that can improve and can find an even higher level. In the first half we saw the great benefits and positives to his aggressive runs down the sides, but in the second half his defensive nous and positioning wasn't there just yet. If he was to sign for us, I could see how an Ashley Cole with Frank Lampard and others, the coaches here, could improve those aspects of his game, and by the time he was like 25, 26, he could be one of the best left backs in the world. But for that price, I think it's a bit too steep, and I'd personally go for cheaper options. There's Alex Telles and there's Tagliafico. Two players who I think are better due to their experience, due to their older age, who would provide something immediately to the team for half the price. And to end things briefly, I want to speak about Kurt Zouma. You know, I was a bit surprised because I kept seeing that his technique was being questioned in yesterday's game. Lots of talk of sideways passes, no forward passes. You know, as I keep stressing, we have to understand the nature of the game. Both teams cancelled each other out. Both teams stopped each other from playing through the middle. So it means that your passing sideways had to be on point. And to be honest, I thought his was very good. He was finding his switch ball passes. His defending too on top was even better. He made so many counters, blocks and interceptions too. And you know, it's interesting to see him play down the left hand side because that has been something that we've seen Lampard do time and time again. Whenever he's playing alongside Rudiger, he plays down the left, and I guess when he plays with Christensen, it's the same thing too. You know, I still have these dreams that Chris and Zouma can play in the team together. I think Chris on the right hand side, I mean, I get why Lampard uses him. You know, that composure up from the back too, especially with how he plays at the fullback, is very good. But it was interesting to see Kurt Zouma, you know, kick-starting those attacks and creating those moves in that sense. A lot of his passes were a lot more ambitious. You know, they were a lot longer compared to Rudiger's, whose passes tended to be more low-driven ones to the wide areas too. So I'm hoping that this is evidence of maybe Kurt Zouma growing more accustomed to playing down the left-hand side, because if this was the case, if this season does continue on, if Kurt plays more games on the left-hand side and he gets even better, maybe this is going to imply that we might not sign a centre-back because we already have some pretty decent options here, some very young options that have that potential to become even better players. So that could save us a ton of money in the long term. And the reason why I'm interested by this is because I think when Zouma plays, one massive advantage we get is that aerially we become a lot stronger. From set pieces, from those crucial aerial balls that you know, you have to win an open play, Zouma wins them all time and time again. But it seems like only time will tell if Christensen and Zouma can get that partnership working so they can balance each other out. But anyway, you guys, that is going to be me for today. Remember to like, comment and subscribe. I'm EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.